Roy, you're shaking your head and you seem to be dumbfounded, and it seems to be that you're cornered from what I'm looking at over here. I see, Roy, hold on a minute. Let me tell the people what happened before you start getting offensive. I see on you that the room, I can't hear what's going on in there, but I see that the room seems to have turned on you, and you are looking around the room incredulously. And Whittingham just whispered in my ear, a little bit too delighted, I might add, there's an accusation back here that Roy is racist.
Huh.
Apparently against my own people.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
More.
So I would like to move out of my neighborhood immediately. Yeah. Because not only because I already told the tree story about my next door neighbor, but across the street, my neighbor has a loudspeaker. Yeah. Like a loudspeaker playing music. Like music so loud that I can't even hear the TV in my own house so loud. And the guy is just sitting there on his porch. Just chilling. Listening to this music. That's way too loud.
No. So we ask a number of follow-up questions because everybody, knows about the tree. Roy has been enemies with this tree for a very long time. So he said, I have to move. I've been looking to move out east.
You are more quietly feuding with your neighbors. You try to stay out of the way. Your philosophy...
we don't talk about that. Anyway, Anyway,
now allow me to put Roy's business out there.
So Roy said he wants to move east. I'm like, Roy, the rates aren't now's not a good time. Let's now's not the best time to move. The rates are a little bit high. And he said I just can't anymore. Like the last acorn fell off the tree. Like what happened? Like a leaf fell because we know about the tree. We all know about the tree. Roy's always feuding with this tree. And then he told us about the neighbor in the front that's playing the music so loud. He says that he can't even hear his own TV because of how loud the speaker is. Well, but Dan, it requires follow-up questions. As inquisitive journalists we are back here, Tony asked, what kind of music is it? Is it good music? And then Roy said, and we're like, well, what is it? Like, what kind of music is it? And he's like, it's Creole music. And I go, I can F with some Creole music, right? And then he kind of went down this path, and we're like, Roy, this sounds a little... And then someone else in the room just said, and it wasn't me, someone else in the room just said, someone has to say it, Roy. You're racist.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was me.
Yeah.
I said it.
It was Fart Bear.
Roy, I grew up in Miramar.
Yeah.
You have now lived in Miramar for a while. You were saying before the show today that you don't know how Stugotz does it because Stugotz is evidently moving again, and you were just confused in general because now is not a great time to move. You saw Stugotz, I don't know if you saw this, but Vic Fangio, the highest paid assistant in the NFL.
Fangs.
The thing that came from his press conference that was interesting, the only thing, was him being asked about the housing market in South Florida, and his quote was just, geez. Because everybody from San Francisco and New York...
Oh, please. $4.5 million a year and you can't find a house somewhere in cow country wherever the guy lives? Give me a break.
That's true.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of money a year, Dan. You can find something.
Fangio's been a head coach, and Fangio ain't find...
Vic Fangio, you know what I mean? Just get an apartment. What are you doing?
You guys...
Just get an apartment?
Exactly. Listen, Fangio, buddy, I don't want to be the one to say it. No one knows who you are, okay? You can live amongst normal people. No one's going to bother you.
Wait. Is that the concern? He doesn't want to live the downtown areas where it's more expensive.
I'll find him something at Greenbrier if he wants to, right there on Coral Way and 97th Avenue.
I'm guessing though that Fangio wants to live on the water and can't afford it.
That's true.
There's no way.
Well, and also
on real water, Stugotz, not on a lake somewhere, a man-made lake, on real water.
Right, on beachfront property, on the ocean. There's no way Vic Fangio, who's been a head coach, who got that contract, cannot afford a house on the beach. He can. I think he can.
But where? Which beach are you putting it on? Because Stugotz, the housing market down here.
Hallandale, Deerfield, a beach like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
well that's
Daytona.
different. That's different.
There's water to be
Where
had,
I live.
Dan. Exactly.
I mean, after the Surfside collapse, beachfront property is the HOAs are going crazy up right now. Every building kind of woke up a morning and went, "Oh shit." This could happen to us, and soon. I live in one of those buildings. My building has been under reconstruction since Surfside happened. Every day they're doing something new to the place.
Are you
because
scared?
It might crumb. No, but
You
like
make more than Vic Fangio does.
I'm about to say, yeah.
no, I mean,
Witty lives on the beach.
but I live in a studio apartment. I don't think
He lives
I don't think
next
that's
to
a-
one of the most exclusive stretches of beach in all of Miami-Dade County.
Yes, I do.
As we've talked about on Mystery
Yeah.
Crate. Shout out to Mystery Crate.
Vic Fangio, then he should be able to afford it.
That's what I'm saying.
But
You want
here's- here's
you want a
the other thing.
studio?
No, but here's the thing: are we always told NFL coaches, "Oh, I work 19 hours
It's a
a
gag.
day. I'm never sleeping." Now all of a sudden, you need a big old house. What?
He's never
He,
there.
he needs
He's
a
never
view
there.
for when he wakes up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, get
Can't
out of
see-
here.
It's
man.
dark. You know what the beach looks like at night, Dan? With no lights? Looks like staring at a black wall. You
Yeah.
can't see anything. What difference does it make?
Well,
It's
other
like
than
Wisconsin.
the little ships on the horizon with their little
yeah,
lights.
and you hear like little sounds, but just get like a sound machine for that. You know what I mean?
I am not defending Vic Fangio's living arrangement not being able to afford, or claiming that he can't afford $4.5 million.
He signed a $61 million deal with the Broncos, 35 guaranteed. He's fine.
What was the stat you gave on because Miami, like the median housing price versus the median income level?
It is about you better earn about $150,000 a year in order right now to be able to afford rent in
A
Miami.
2-bedroom or something like that.
To
I think
afford-
that's what Billy Corbin said.
It's gone
I
crazy.
think he'll be okay.
It's Vic Fangio's fault. All of these prices are out of whack because of people like Vic Fangio.
This is insulting, by the way, to real people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes,
actually
yes, it
can't
is.
afford to buy
Like
a house.
me.
Not Vic Fangio, who
Rise
can't buy a
up.
McMansion. Like, get the fuck out of here,
Yeah.
Vic Fangio. Go
Get
back to
your-
whatever shit team you came from. If you don't want to
Yeah.
live here, get out of town right now.
Yeah.
We need a good DC though.
You rich
Yeah, we-
You should go
bastard.
back to Chicago and buy Michael Jordan's old house.
Yeah. Hold on. Now we're talking.
I have an idea,
There's a
Dan.
price cut going on, right?
Down 50%.
Stugotz, there is no way that Vic Fangio signed a $61 million contract.
He did 4 years.
4 years, $61 million.
Yeah.
You have Vic
No.
Fangio making
Making
$15 million a year.
$15
There is no
Highest
chance.
paid coach in the NFL. Look it up.
I'm attempting to, and I can't
Oh,
find
it's
it.
right there.
Where do you have it? Read us the story and
Vic
give.
Fangio Broncos deal. Just type that into Google.
Okay, but what did you get? Give us the source on what it is, because that does seem very
We'll see.
high for Vic Fangio. And you say we'll see, but
You're
it seems
checking my sources?
Well,
I
it
mean,
seems-
Only $35 million was guaranteed.
thank you.
It's there.
That's what I
That's
said.
real.
Steve Morton.
he did say that, and he is now defensive that we are questioning his reading of the internet. When all I was trying to
According to
see is if
Sportskeeda.
we could get you fined early in the show. That's
I've been
all.
fined enough this week, man.
Okay, now you're coming
and I'm
in
the only one
vigilant.
paying the fines. I got to be honest.
That's
I keep
not
finding
true.
people left and right, and no one puts money
That's
in.
not true.
How much did the Eagles pay Vic Fangio for those 2 weeks?
As a consultant,
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't
Too much. That's the answer that we're
but
looking for, Dan. They've heard
Regardless,
too much.
as we continue to rip Vic Fangio, move away from Roy being racist.
Oh, come on, man.
I didn't do that. I don't
Roy.
understand what was happening there.
I tried.
I don't know what was happening in your neighborhood, and I don't know what was happening in the shipping container. But there is a housing crisis in South Florida. There is a traffic crisis in South Florida. Stugotz, you can tell them. You can tell the people. You love how much right now it's the wild, wild west out there.
It really is. So much so that the cops are breaking the rules too. Like they have caved in finally. And I'm happy about it because whoever constructed the roads down here in
Finally.
South Florida, well, listen, I've had a different experience on the roadways, Roy, perhaps than you have over the years, okay? But it is good to see cops now doing things that I do on a regular basis.
No, that's bad.
That's bad.
That would
Why
be
is that bad?
It's worse for me, but yes,
And not
that's
when it
bad.
pertains to traffic, though. That's all I'm saying. Because everyone knows that all roads flow into one lane down here. So if you live up north, anyone who's made that drive knows the Turnpike, all these roads, 95, they all flow into one lane that eventually turns into 95 South. And it all flows into one lane. You could stop there for 30 minutes to 60 minutes on any given day if you follow the rules. If you don't, you can get through it in 10 minutes. The way you do that is going on the shoulder and then weaving back into that lane at the very last minute, okay?
Catch someone napping.
Right. That's what exactly.
That's what it is. I
No,
mean,
it is. You just wait for your gap and then you shoot it.
It's
That's
the
it.
best
Yeah.
feeling in the world.
Oh, it's great.
Oh,
it's amazing.
This one right here doesn't see me coming. Here we go.
The
Oh,
18-wheeler is always ripe for it too.
No,
the
but he's
18-wheeler's
not
never going
nap-
to react quick enough.
Yes,
He's not
They're not
napping.
going to react quick enough.
He's
the,
not
the
napping,
truck
though.
But the
can't
truck
move
doesn't
fast
go
enough.
quick enough.
It
He's
doesn't.
right. He's right.
But
You
that's
find
not-
a good,
no,
Very
no.
dangerous.
That's a
But-
dangerous game because you're also banking on the truck stopping quick enough.
no, but you find a good truck. Woody's right. That's you do. You
No.
find a good truck.
Find
I'm going
a
to
good
stand up
truck.
for truckers.
Wait, hold on a second.
They're not napping. The nappers are the people who are on their phones.
Yeah.
Driving like a freaking Lexus IS or something like that. They are prime time nappers.
You could find those as well, but what Witty is saying is the truck takes a second to get
nice.
started. You know?
Hold on a second. Walk us through the perfect truck to cut off, because you say you can tell the right trucks to do this with.
Like an 18-wheeler, like
No,
a
I
big
know, but
truck.
Is it
Psychotic.
is it
This
like
is all
is it the
psychotic.
cement
Slightly on the older side,
what
you
are the
know.
trucks where
Those
they have, like, the
probably
big
have
cargo
crappier
that spin?
brakes.
Okay, we
Cement
have
truck.
we have a
You're
lot.
worried about the brakes. I'm worried about them getting started.
No,
That's
I
it.
know, but if they have bad brakes, then you're
It's
going to
the
get
Z- it's the
pancaked.
Z-
Yeah,
it's the
but
0
I'm
to
in a-
7. It's the 0 to 7.
Billy,
it
I'm
just
in a-
doesn't. They don't have good speed.
Billy, I'm in a moving position, okay? I'm already driving. This truck has been standing still for minutes.
I know,
right?
but if it gets
it's like a
moving-
sprinter starting 10 yards before the actual sprint.
My
right?
concern
and then
is-
everyone else is starting from the block.
But if you're going after an older truck with a giant heavy load, you're assuming that they're paying attention and they could just brake very
Billy,
quickly.
but here
They have
this-
hydraulic
I
brakes.
mean-
They can't like slam on them and come to a complete stop. Also, I just want to update something. I have not found another credible source on Vic Fangio's salary in the last 10 minutes. I'm still trying to find it. I found one article on Sports Keto. I don't know what that is.
Sports keto.
you just need one. I mean,
Okay, I just realized we've been bamboozled again by Billy. Billy, you go sit in the penalty box.
Me?
Yes, because
What
you,
did he do?
Billy supported. Billy supported.
Call me
that-
a racist.
That Stugotz.
I did not. Jer Bear called you racist.
You're poking the bear.
I said I
You're
like
poking the
Creole
Jer Bear.
music. How was the music when you lived in Miramar, Dan?
It was not Creole too loud across the street in a way that made me not be able to sleep with a child. That would be a terrible
You
music
said watch
situation.
TV, not sleep.
Or watch TV. I have to get back, though. The reason I wanted to put you in the penalty box is because you were like an anarchist supporting that Stugotz's stats were right.
It was the article.
No, but they're not right. The stats are
Well,
not
how do
right.
you know?
The stats are not right on Vic Fangio.
prove me wrong.
Exactly. We found it written.
Jessica is trying to prove you wrong.
She
and her,
found it too.
no.
She
and
confirmed.
One article.
Yeah.
an
flimsy
article
source.
is not credible.
Flimsy.
An-
I mean,
Hold on.
according
An
to who?
article is not credible. I mean, what are we to turn to?
Are you not familiar with how disinformation is working and how often I'm getting butt cracked around here? One article, the source has to be credible, and Stugotz didn't give us a credible source.
By
Sports
this by the logic, right? The highest paid coaches in the NFL this season: Bill Belichick, $20 million, right? Sean Payton apparently still making $18
no,
million.
but these salaries
No, I know.
just changed recently.
I know. No, Pete Carroll, $15 million. Sean McVay, $14 million. Mike Tomlin, $12.5 million, right?
Do we think that Vic Fangio made more than Sean McVay?
Exactly, right?
Hold
Like,
on a second.
Backloaded deal.
Hold
I
on.
mean,
Exactly right. Hold on a second. And it was just $35 million guaranteed. You're to tell me that Sportskeeda, an Indian sports and esports news website founded in 2009, is not credible?
Sit in the
Seems
penalty
like Roy's
box.
not the only racist here.
Sit in the penalty box. You and Jer Bear, both of you sit in the penalty box for the chaos you're bringing into the show
Bye-bye.
from that corner.
Bye-bye.
I side with Roy.
This is me like
I
Dame
side with
Lillard
Roy
right now. Bye bye.
I side with Roy. Both of you.
Bye.
You are an anarchist. And all you do is support Stugotz in terrible positions at every turn.
what do you mean? I mean, Jess
Stugotz-
supported me as well.
Stugotz,
Someone else find the deal.
It's
I
not
mean,
Stugotz. You look on one website, there's one thing pasted together, and you make Vic Fangio the best paid coach in the sport, which is not possible.
I mean, I used to use the Bleacher Report as a, as one of my sources. You used to laugh at me then. Then it turned into a big, gigantic site. I mean, media shifted. It's changed, Dan. I'm sorry. You just want to go to the Washington Post or the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal. Listen, just because it's Sportskeeda or whatever it's called, Sportskeeda, doesn't mean it's not credible.
Yeah, but you need to know who it is you're citing for you to be credible, is what I'm saying.
Oh.
For you to be credible in any facts that you
I've
give
given
us.
up on that a
You
long
got-
time
You
ago,
got
Dad.
mad at me. You got mad at me. And the truth is, you now found it on the internet, but you did indeed read the internet wrong by not citing your source, not knowing whether the source was credible, and you are now fined $5.
What?
You
Get out of here.
Yes, you read the internet incorrectly.
That's not true. No one knows.
I know. Common sense knows that Vic Fangio was not the highest paid coach in football.
We're basing things on common sense now.
He is the highest paid defensive coordinator now.
Common
Thank
sense
you.
is not common.
Do we think that he's paid more? He was paid more than Bill Belichick.
Again,
I mean, what are we doing?
$5.
I would like to find one credible source.
Well, I
I would like to believe Stugotz.
I will say I did hear. I
just
heard.
can't find anything.
I heard Peter Schrager of NFL Network on Bill Simmons' podcast, basically saying that we have no idea what coaches get paid, and that Bill Belichick could probably very easily clear $20 million a year as a coach, and we just don't know about it.
Well, but that's new, though. Belichick's salary has always been a big, giant secret, and salaries were held down at that position, at least in part because it seemed like the public, he was one of the contracts that nobody knew. Nobody ever knew what Belichick was making, as he was, surely, whatever he was making, underpaid given what they were producing in New England.
Well, and the reason why it came up is because apparently Sean Payton has gone to market asking for similar figures. $20 to $25 million a year to whatever his new destination is. We don't know. It's weird that all the player salaries get reported, but we don't know what NFL coaches make.
So there was an article that came out in Sportico like a month ago that got aggregated on a bunch of sites that had NFL coaches' salaries, but I can't read the original article because it's behind a paywall. But it seems
Send it to me.
It seems like we do know at least like the top 5 or 6
Whittingham,
guys.
we've always known all of them except for Belichick. Belichick was setting the market, and Belichick was the one contract. We knew the other contracts. He was the one that was always skating, and no one ever knew. I don't even know who his agent is. He was quiet
we don't know
about
Eric
it.
Spoelstra's salary, right? I think that the Heat keep that stuff secret. There's a few organizations where we just don't know. I think if we it would be a bigger deal if we knew what NFL coach. Like we know what college coaches make. It's a matter of public record. They work for public institutions. I don't feel like the public knows that some NFL coaches make between $15 and $20 million.
This happened, Stugotz, but this is new. This happened. Sean Payton, it's not Whittingham that most NFL coaches make between $15 million. Sean Payton went to market as a big free agent when Walmart was trying to get into the football game. And so he got Belichick money. But that's not the normal salary for an NFL head coach. That's sure as hell not what McDaniel's making. Look up what McDaniel's contract is. Billy,
Yo.
I'm still holding strong here. I mean,
I'm with him. Like we don't know what Belichick and Spoelstra make. Maybe they make $30 million, and that's why Vic can make 15.
Just really quickly about the Vic Fangio contract. The most amazing thing is when I put in the search term Vic Fangio Denver Broncos contract, there's absolutely zero stories about him signing with the Broncos. Everything that comes up is he's with the Dolphins now, and I'm like, there's nothing from like
never happened.
The search engines are really hard to find actual information.
What are they
sometimes
hiding?
I use Twitter searches just to see if someone tweeted about it with a link to an article. Like you could do like the, go like to the calendar and go back to like whatever week he was hired in and do the whole time thing. That's a whole process. But I searched Vic Fangio 61 million on Twitter and there's no results.
except for one.
So I pay for Sportico, so I actually
How many things do you subscribe to?
God.
Like what's your you are like
Expense that.
You're the
I don't- I just-
person
I
that
just didn't-
needs that app.
By the way, I don't pay for Sportico. I just know how to get around paywalls.
Like health insurance.
Hey, man,
That's a crime.
that's a crime.
Whoa.
It's not a crime.
Whoa.
It's not a
White
crime.
myself.
I did it through
Whoa.
completely
White collar crime.
I did it through completely legal means.
what?
So
Wait a minute. I don't understand the boast of I pay for Sportico and then the defense of I don't
Well,
pay
you
for
know, once-
Sportico. I
once-
steal Sportico.
once you attack
Legally.
me, well, I mean, once you attack me, for like paying for Sportico, then I got to tell you,
Well, but you-
ways
that's
a
of
crime.
getting around
But
paywall.
I don't
it's
know-
not a crime. I'm using a web app where you save articles into it. It's called Pocket.
No.
And sometimes
Lose-
Don't
lose
tell them how you
situation.
commit the
All right,
crime.
all right.
Jeez.
That's rule number one of
really
committing
smoking
crimes.
gun.
Nice, man.
Jeez.
Terrible
So now
criminal.
Pocket's gonna
Terrible
take this
criminal.
away.
Yeah.
Perfectly legal
You're not
service.
supposed to tell people about
He would be
Pocket.
the worst criminal.
That's how he gets away with the murders. Is he presents himself as this bumbling fool that
What-
can't commit these little crimes, and then
And then he
off
comes
with
into
their
work
head.
and says, "Is there blood on my face?"
exactly that was a weird day.
Yeah, everyone's had mystery blood before. I'm certain of it.
That's
Yes, it is.
not a
Mystery
thing I've
blood's
ever
definitely a
heard of.
thing. You stub your
all.
toe, you look at your sock, there's some blood in it, you go, what happened?
Happy Women's Month, everyone.
Oh,
Congratulations. Hey.
where's
Oh,
my
Black
bell?
History Month's over. Oh, no. I was called a racist today. No wonder.
Hey, Roy, they wasted no time.
They
They're like,
got
it's
right
March
to
1st. Get his ass.
Your original sin, Whittingham, what the part that was unnecessary, I think everyone agrees, and it's why you were attacked, is because we had moved on from who's got a paywall, I won't go behind a paywall. Amin helpfully saying, send it to me, I'll allow you to steal from me.
I didn't say that.
Not that exactly.
Don't implicate him.
Yeah, what are you doing?
And
You're terrible at crimes, too.
Whittingham, your original crime is it was unnecessary for all of us to hear you volunteer that you pay for Sportico. You were trying to show us something.
Well, I was trying to signal that Jess had said I can't read this article because it's behind a paywall, and I wanted to signal I managed to, I read the article, I found the article. We got beyond the paywall. Now I didn't want to disclose that I got there via nefarious means, but I did. So anyway,
What's the article about?
So
I mean,
Bill Belichick, according
Hold
to
on
this,
a second.
Support
Whittingham.
journalism.
I pay for a lot of journalist things.
Oh, okay.
I believe
Well, apparently
him.
not.
No, I believe him. I believe him, Roy.
What is the article in Sportico?
Okay, so the top 25 highest paid coaches in U.S. sports, and they said that they had to ask NFL executives and like do some reporting because this is not a matter of public knowledge. NFL coaches' salaries are not a matter of public knowledge. So they say that Bill Belichick makes $18 million a year. This is as of November 2021. The next highest paid coaches
I'm going to update it.
are Pete Carroll at $14 million, Sean Payton at $14 million. This is when he was with the Saints. Andy Reid at $12 million, Greg Popovich at $11.5, Mike Tomlin at $11.5. Then we get to a few college coaches. Kyle Shanahan's at $9.5 million. Frank Reich was at the time $9 million. John Harbaugh was $9 million. But all these guys are making $9 million more. But nowhere in here is Vic Fangio.
Well, when did they write the article?
Exactly.
November
Might have
of
been before.
2021.
And what is
There's an
Sportico?
updated one from this year that has Sean McVay at $14 million.
Yeah.
Stugotz,
That
is possible.
$5.
Not yet. Nope.
Yeah, what-
No one's
Stugotz.
proving me wrong.
He hasn't found a salary for Vic Fangio yet.
Exactly.
And Sportico, Sportketo, what's the difference?
There is a difference.
Well, one
What
charges
is it?
you and the
Yeah.
other doesn't.
Okay, so you guys aren't making any credibility differences. We have arrived there now. Just to be
Name a
clear,
writer for Sportico.
you and
A bunch of former
Stugotz,
SI people work there, actually. I
Name
could
a
probably
writer.
name some.
you and Stugotz don't read anything. You don't do paywalls of any kind. You actively play defense against being more informed. You try to spread the virus of wanting others to be as little informed as you are. And so anything that pops up on any device that says anything you're willing to believe is credible.
But anything that pops up on any device that wants to charge you money, you believe is credible.
You
Exactly.
too are responsible for the misinformation campaign that is spreading throughout our country because no
Hot kettle.
one can tell the difference between butt crack sports
Thank you, Jess.
and the credibility that you will find in real American newspapers. You have been disproven by virtue of we can't find it on the internet.
I mean, you're making Sportico out to be the New York Times all of a sudden.
You know what this
Jesus.
is like? This is like the scene in The Dark Knight Rises where all the bad guys are dressed as cops at the Harvey Dent memorial, and then all of a sudden everyone just starts fighting each other, and like, I don't know who's good and who isn't. That's what's happening right now.
But that's what's happening in Miami is the cops end up in the lane that Stugotz is in. Getting back to that conversation, it is not surprising to me at all in South Florida that the attitude of Billy, it prevails all over. I'm scared. I don't want to be hit by that truck. And Stugotz is zipping in
People want to get hit by trucks?
and complimenting Cody on the way in. Complimenting Cody
Oh, he
because
shoots a gap.
because he keeps every week he says he shoots a gap, and the last thing I want is Greg Cody in front of an 18-wheeler shooting a gap on asthma medication and everything else. An 18-wheeler that's going to poison us all when it falls over with its toxic chemicals because you think Greg Cody is good at shooting a gap.
Not good, great. I mean, seriously.
Driving
The
his
best I've
midlife
ever
crisis
seen.
Corvette.
I mean,
Greg Cody in a Corvette at 70 years old shooting a gap.
Most of those trucks, in fairness, just have like rocks in them, so it wouldn't be like a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
And those things, I hate those rocks. The ones that jump out of the top and bounce and hit my car.
Oh, yeah,
Get out of here, man.
Yeah,
Like
they
you're
get
in a
safe, like-
war.
Secure your load trucks.
Yeah.
Really, can we finally talk about that weird thing they're building over the Palmetto with the new interchange? It's like this thing that they've been building for a year since I moved to Miami, and it's just kind of like this curved thing dangling in midair, and it's probably like, I don't know, 100 feet tall. I don't know. It's humongous.
Yeah.
It's by like the Arch Center. It's this massive, like, we looked it up. It's $800 million is the cost, and it's like they're trying to make, I guess, like a gateway arch type thing, but it's like 50 of them like jumping over each
And
other.
it's just
there's
been
like
dangling over the street
Yeah,
for
seems
like
dangerous.
a year.
Seems like a waste of taxpayer money.
No, I mean their thinking is we're going to solve the traffic problem by building highways on top of each other. And if we
it's
This
not
is
for
purely
it's,
aesthetic.
it's
There's
completely
no-
pointless.
$800 million for aesthetics?
Yeah,
I
it's
think
completely
the,
pointless.
I think
way.
the 800
Google
million
it.
is for the whole interchange.
Google it.
Because they're changing like the lanes where you get off the causeway and then how you get on the causeway.
No, that's
And
another
it's
thing.
A complete mess.
Hold on.
It's disgusting.
Hold on. $800 million for an aesthetic thing. This is from the makers of Vic Fangio makes $60 million.
No, it's a real
over
thing.
4
Look it
years.
up. It's on Sportico.
The Google it move that he is now. Look at him. Look how happy he is. Look at him. Just threw the show into the ditch with just gibberish spewed into a microphone. That
He's created it.
when you try to disprove it, he's like Google it and then points at you and runs away into the shadows.
It's half an archway just dangling over the street.
We're
How are
doing
they
a
gonna-
show. He
how are they
wants us
gonna
to
complete
Google it.
I don't want you to
Dan,
Google it. I
Google
want
He
you to,
wants you to believe him.
I want you to believe me,
Yeah.
but if you
That
guys
thing.
want to kind of slow things down, that's on you.
the archway does support a new highway.
No, it's aesthetic.
They're literally building a highway on top of a
No,
highway.
you're going
It is
through
a
it, yeah.
double-decker section of the 836 that goes over the Miami River.
What does it cost, just out of curiosity?
It may indeed cost $800 million,
There's no
but cars
way.
will
Is
drive on
Crow
it.
we're
Yeah,
eating?
$840 million.
But
So I undersold it.
hold on, no.
That's
It's a new
800 million
highway,
plus Vic
but it's a
Fangio's
new-
because
name.
cars go on it, not because it looks pretty.
No, cars go through it.
You've got a Miami archway. That's
For
what
now,
that's what
yeah.
you guys made it.
It's
you guys,
multiple archways. It's like 6 of them.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
weird.
Yeah, DJ Khaled will perform at the top of it every night. It'll just be Bejeweled, and we'll spend $800 million
Did he perform on the
on
St.
it.
Louis Arch?
$840. They had to pay for Khaled.
Why the fuck are we building a double-decker highway? Like,
Why not?
There's
Because
no place
Miami.
to build here.
Where else do you want him to
Where is
build?
him? This is what's happening. What's happening down here that is the biggest lunacy, because it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. We are more subject to climate change chaos than just about anywhere, especially as hurricanes approach. We're the number one housing market for least affordable anywhere in the world because San Francisco and New York have come down here and we're not equipped to handle it. And now all you see is cranes building things into the sky because we're such an expensive city where the money is flowing so freely. And our coach shows up at the combine, and when they ask him, "You look like money, you're not hiding it," he's like, "I'm not trying to." This is Miami at the very end. We're going to wear nice clothes as we drown.
But there's other forms of transportation that we can invest money in. We have a train that services part of Miami, but not all of it. What if we expanded it to all of Miami and people could just take trains to work instead of all piling into our cars and sitting together for an hour and a half to go 7 miles?
Shut up, nerd. Yeah, we want to drive.
I don't know what it's like.
Play our music.
Or maybe like a bus system that works. I don't know. No, now we're
No,
taking crazy.
But
pills.
no,
Man.
Wow.
buses.
No, a train system would be
No,
nice.
yeah,
then.
train's
Yeah.
nice.
It's going to be here Friday, guys.
A
You're
train
going
system
like
would
2
be good.
miles. People drive
Yes.
their cars to go 1 mile from one parking garage to the next parking garage. Do you know how much time I spend in parking garages in this city?
Just
At
walk.
least 5 hours a week.
Yes.
I'm going down a parking garage, going up a parking garage,
You're
waiting
gonna-
for a ticket at a parking garage.
You-
Everything's a fucking parking garage.
Your
In
solution-
this fucking city, they told me there'd be palm trees, there'd be a beach, there'd be smoothies,
Just
acai
concrete.
bowls.
Yeah.
It's just parking garages.
Your
Acai bowls,
solution is to, instead of sitting in traffic in your car, is to sit in traffic in a bus with other people.
If more people take the bus, there's less cars.
It'll never get to that level.
Ever.
Ever.
Less pollution.
Train's the only way.
I'll take the train too. I want both.
No.
I'm offering the suggestion of both. Just give me something.
When you lived in New York, did you take the bus?
You do need to take the bus to go across town, but I only would go uptown to go to work. So no, I take the subway.
See, I could never take a bus because every time I take the bus, I look at people walking past the bus and I'm like, I should have just walked. I city
biked a lot too.
Jessica, I could make
Dangerous
the
game.
argument, having been in both of the cities, that this Miami that you've experienced is different than any Miami I've ever lived in. That your experience with Miami is because it's just been ruined. Our Bejeweled dumpster has been ruined by the sheer number of people and the amount of money that's coming down here. It's not. You can't live affordably down here. The traffic, Stugotz, I've told you, every city complains about traffic, but we are now officially, sort of the way they do the measurements, top 10 worst in the world because there are too many cars just piled on top of each other down here in an area
I'm tired of this bashing of Miami, by the way.
Yeah.
Can we stop this?
Tony,
Can
what
we
do you
stop
mean?
all this?
Tony,
you don't like it? Move somewhere else.
No,
You
the roads were constructed.
I didn't make
I don't
you
like-
do
I don't like how that
anything.
sounds at
Whoever
all.
came up
It's
with-
Women's Month. I
Tony.
didn't make you do anything.
Dan,
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
Tony,
yeah,
that's
that's
move
right.
here.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Tony, you walked in yesterday and said it took you an hour and 20 minutes to go 9 miles.
And I had a great podcast going on in the background, and I was totally fine.
You loved it. Mm-hmm. Kick the feet up.
And you want to build a train system. What if you work on Chrome and 197?
We build a train system that goes all the way out there.
all the way out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tony, you're rejecting alternate modes of
No.
transportation?
I'm one of the people that take alternate modes of transportation because I live right next to the Metro Rail. Metro Rail is the one train above ground in Miami that actually does
and you
anything.
like it, and you use
I
it.
do. I do.
What if we expanded it?
Guys, you don't understand how much that would take to get to every part of Miami. People work down south, people work out west, people work out east. Not everybody
Do you
works
know
in
how
one
much it
small
takes to build
metropolitan
a
area,
dumb
though.
little arch over the Palmetto, $840
I'm going to tell you why it's
million.
worth $840 million. Okay, you guys ready?
I can't wait.
Have you ever been stuck on the other side of the Miami River behind a bridge that's
Yes.
been there for 47 minutes
last
and you haven't
weekend.
moved?
Yes, last
Okay,
weekend.
that's
For a
why
stupid boat too.
it is also for a stupid boat. But the point
Oh, the
being
boat drivers.
that
I
archway
hate
is
them.
going to build something
Oh, I
over
hate
the
them.
Miami River to get you past those stupid bridges. So pay whatever it is. I don't care.
That was
Period.
That was
What?
Greg Cody's best ever back in my day. I remember as a listener, it's like 7 years ago. He did a thing on drawbridges. And as someone who lives on the other side
Do
of
you have it?
drawbridges,
You should
I mean,
play
yeah,
it.
I mean,
I'm
I'll go
sure you
find
have it
It's
there.
the last one he did. Yeah.
No, absolutely not. Can't.
It's one of my all-time favorites because it's just the.
Was he
the
pro or
sheer,
anti?
Anti. The sheer selfishness of one person on a boat going through a major metropolitan area at 5:15 p.m. to go lounging on your yacht is the most selfish act anywhere in
Witty's
life.
in.
On the
Perfect.
bridge operator, though. No, I mean, it's kind of on the operator.
What?
Yeah.
We're just gonna
You
keep
gotta
it
wait
down?
for
On
like
the
seven
operator.
boats.
You tell them no. You'd
The
be like,
guy
no.
that
Over
owns the
that
bridge,
wick
the
speed.
drawbridge.
You tell them no. If you're the bridge
Right.
operator, how many people are here? No.
We'll
No.
wait for 7 more boats.
That's a
down,
good point. Why
right.
don't we ever inconvenience those people?
Exactly
Like, where
right.
they go? They're not going to work, right? They're
Exactly.
not
You
going
wait
anywhere.
right here. There are
Was
people
they
in
gonna drop
cars trying to
anchor
get
and
through.
wait for the bridge
That's
to go
right.
up?
They should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I mean,
need
I
to
agree with
stand
you
up
guys
as a
for the record.
society. We need to stand up and
Looks
say
like
no
everybody's
more.
on board for the arches now.
Uh-huh.
Look at that.
Ahoy, matey.
But it is hard
No.
to stop a boat. I see why they do it.
Nah.
No. Is it harder to stop a boat or the 18-wheeler?
That's a good question.
You shoot the gap
We
on a
should do a
boat.
race. But the truck is in
These
the water
arches
and the
seem
boat's on land.
dangerous. I mean, I gotta
I'm
be
with
honest.
you.
Yeah, it seems
This is one of those.
Very high in the air.
Let's
I mean-
let like a couple years go by on that, and then
I would love for the two of you
You
have
try
been,
it first.
to have been
Yeah.
in the planning meeting for the Golden Gate Bridge. You'd be like, I don't know, guys. I don't know this is gonna work.
I mean,
Sister
those
Jean-
arches aren't aesthetic. They actually help hold up the bridge, right?
No.
Oh, yeah. For the
These
golden-
ones are just for funsies.
No,
No.
they're saying it's an overpass, right?
No, it's not. The rendering, so there's one thing that's a big overpass they're
Uh-huh.
building above the highway. There's another thing that's just a series of big concrete arches next to the highway where they're building the new interchange where the causeway and the Palmetto kind of
Okay.
merge. And I'm fairly certain they're just aesthetic arches.
I mean,
No, there can't be.
they have to serve some sort of
They
structural
can't
purpose.
be. There's no way in today's economy they're spending $800 million on aesthetics. People would riot in the
Miami,
streets.
man.
Miami.
Well, no one's paying attention.
Who's the construction company? Are they getting a kickback? I don't know.
Whoa.
Stugotz.
They'll just stop building it halfway through, and the contractor.
That's what they've done for a
Yes,
year.
well, the contractors keep ending up on other jobs as we build more things into the sky, so someone can have a nightclub shaped like a toilet.
Is that a thing?
I mean, it will be.
It will be.
At
it's not already.
at the center of the apocalypse, it will be.
The shithole.
Yes, that's what we'll call it.
I've struggled to figure out how to get invested in the Miami Heat. I feel like I completed basketball fandom with the LeBron James era of the Miami Heat. Like, it's sort of when you play a video game and you get to the big boss and you beat the big boss, you rarely go and do it again. And I feel like I did basketball in my life, and I really struggled for the 8 to 9 years since to recapture an animation, a feeling, even when they made the finals.
It will never get better.
It will never get better. It will
Right.
never feel higher stakes. I moved on to other sports. The Florida Panthers being good, the Miami I would be way more invested in a deep playoff run for the Miami Marlins than I would for the Heat, just because of what they've perfected basketball in my mind. But there is something going on right now with the Miami Heat that I didn't realize it tapped back into some of that feeling. And it was this morning's edition of the Bill Simmons podcast when friend of Meadowlark Media, Mike Schur, went on and basically did 20 minutes of the Miami Heat live rent-free in my head. That I have allowed them to, because of the way that they play basketball, because they should be worse than they are, but they just won't die. They allow the Miami Heat to basically torment them, that they don't want to see them in the playoffs, and we don't know if we can beat them in the playoffs, and the Celtics are great, but the Miami Heat might come in and ruin my season. And the idea that this team, that isn't really that good, that kind of plays a hideous style of basketball, that has frankly made some errors upon getting close to last year's finals, haven't exactly gone about team building very well.
They're trying to beat you through sheer force of will.
Oh, like defense.
They cannot shoot.
Deflections.
The whole league
Free
is moving
throws.
Offensive, and they have gotten old fast the way Jimmy Butler's going to get old, which
Drag
is
you in the mud.
You may kill me, but you're going to die right next to me. It's not like one of us is going to survive this.
So the
I'm
Mick
going to
Cronin of
die,
basketball teams.
and Jason Tatum's going to die right next to me.
Mike,
And it's just so delightful to listen to a pair of Celtics fans that think that they have a chance to win the title, and they are terrified of the Miami Heat. It has gotten me, I'm going to watch the next Heat game. I've got to be honest, I've not watched a ton of them this year. But I'm watching a ton of Heat basketball for the rest of the year because I am dying to play the Celtics in the first round. The Heat will be big underdogs. If they lose, it won't be a problem.
And they're not as good. They are not as good as the Celtics. You will make them fear until they beat you, and then they will laugh at you.
I will torment the Boston Celtics.
Mike Schur texted me. He said his big nightmare is that the Celtics drop down to 2 and have to play the 7-seeded Miami Heat in the first round.
Shut up.
That's his nightmare. But what did Bill say? Is Bill kind of?
real
Yeah,
problems.
they're also Bill's on a similar train of thought. It's like you look at their numbers, you look at their stats. Team isn't that good. I believe the Heat this year are 22-37 against the spread. They just win all their games close. So even when they're favored, they win them close. So they have 11 more wins than covers this year. They're a terrible gambling team. But even still, all these people are terrified
this
of the Miami Heat.
This whole season has been a Miami Heat team that's not that good, looking a little bit better than it actually is in the standings. Not by point differential. They may still be getting outscored this season.
They're a negative point differential.
But they have played a historic number of close games. They win more than they lose, and so they're relevant on sheer will. On this sheer will, Udonis Haslem was quoted yesterday as saying he is losing sleep at night. And I'm like, why? Why would you be losing sleep at night about
What
a
is he going to do about it?
a 4-game losing streak? But that's what the Celtics fear. Celtics fans fear, oh my God, even their old guy cares as much as we do. Our only hope is that Kyle Lowry doesn't.
Celtic fans have nothing to worry about, nothing to complain about. You're not tired of that whole crew, Simmons, Mike Schur. No one's had a better run since 2000, and really, it's sports history than the Boston fan.
The city
Nobody.
of Boston. I
You
thought
should
meant
hear
the
them.
city of Boston.
You should hear them complain about the Red Sox. That was insufferable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, we've had 4 bad years. Our owner won't spend any money. Oh, we've only won 4 championships over a 14-year period. Oh no!
Why don't you guys
What
do this
are
when
we
he's
to
here?
do?
You only do it when
I've-
he's not
Cowards.
here. When he's here, it's
So
like,
true.
oh, hey, Mike Schur, talk to me
Cowards.
about Parks and Rec again.
I've made fun of his Boston sports
Is that a
fandom to his
limited fake
face.
Witty or fart
Hold on.
bear?
I don't know.
Let me just say right now, Billy, you open the door for me.
Why is it going on with Simmons, by the way? Is he allowed to do that?
am so annoyed. You know, I came on last week talking about the All-Star game, and I was complaining about people not taking it seriously. And you guys kept saying, oh, there's another impression. Those aren't impressions. If I'm doing a voice, it's just a voice. It's not an impression of someone. It's just the voice of a whiny person in my brain. That's what it sounds like. And for some reason, you know, people say shit about me on the internet all day long. I don't care.
It sounds like
It
you
seems
care.
like you do.
It sounds like you care.
No.
You just
I don't-
took the show
No,
and
no.
you?
Let me finish my point.
you're making it about
Let
a
me
personal.
finish. Let me finish my point. I don't care, but that right there, when someone gets something wrong, annoys me to no end. Like, oh, he did 7 voices. I didn't. Or 7 impressions. I didn't do an impression.
Well, every
has to be
impression's
of
DMX
someone.
with you.
What's up?
Every impression is just DMX or like
Not
scales
when
of
I
it.
do this voice. I like Mike Schur and I like these shows. That's not an impression of someone.
hate
That's
that
not an
voice.
impression.
You're caring again.
This is the one thing I care about. I care about getting it right. If you say it's annoying, I'm fine with that. But if you say, oh, he's doing an impression of
But
something.
we weren't talking about that. You
Yes,
came
you
in.
were.
You
You
flew
brought it up
across
out of
the
the blue.
country.
Yeah.
You did this.
You flew across the country. You had this grievance stuck in your side since you've left here.
That's right.
That your impressions weren't good enough last
It's
week.
not an impression. That's my point. It's not an impression.
And you say you don't care about what people say to you on the internet.
I don't.
But you did 7 whiny guys, and they all sounded the same. All 7 of the whiny guys.
I didn't do 7 whiny guys. I did a whiny voice. And you're like, oh, that's the same impression of like, it's not an impression of someone. It's just a voice. That's the voice of the whiny person. And the way Billy did that right there, it reminded me that's what opened the door. Continue.
Are you explaining how comedy works? Because that's Dan's thing. I mean, stay in your lane.
In this town?
Hey-o again. Another hey-o that's reserved for
I'm gonna sink into it, man.
hey-o. His new signature line.
Ed McMahon.
Is Dano.